All right. I've got my line drawing transferred to my watercolor paper. I'm ready to start in with my watercolors. First thing I'm going to do is get him all nice and wet. I'm using a small number 5 or 6 brush. And I'm probably going to use this brush throughout the whole process. It's a fairly small watercolor. And I'm just kind of adding water to all these areas. My colors are going to bleed together. I just kind of try to go between the pencil lines. I just want a little bit of water to help the paint move a little bit. So as soon as the wet brush of paint hits the paper, I really want it to kind of splash out. I keep his toenails dry to begin with, and then I come back in and I'll paint around them, probably keep them nice and light to begin with. Just adds, that's how you keep your light in them. And I always look down at eye level, and I could just kind of pull big areas of standing water. I can pull it around. Anything that's kind of got a pool of water in it, I can pull that pool into the drier areas. And you don't have to be exact with how you're watering this. I just want some of that water to react. I want that paint to react as soon as it hits the paper. Now, I'm not going to look at my original photograph. The original photograph, the chick is quite, or Marge is quite green, but this one I think I'm going to make her more on the red side. I'm just using 3 colors: a phthalo blue, a cadmium red, and a lemon yellow. Start with that nice cadmium red with a little bit of phthalo blue into it. And I'm just going to look at her dark areas here. Looking right at my value sketch. Nice darks under there. Nice darks under there. See, as soon as that pigment hits the paper and that water, it just kind of starts sifting around. Some of the yellow, some of this kind of orangish on top. Orange in this middle section. Got too much water, just sop it up, wipe it off on your towel. So I like using a towel. I like having that surface to be able to wipe my brush on. Try to get lots of pigment in there. Get it nice and rich. Leaving little bits of white at the top of those, because when we put the background in, we'll come in real close to that, and that'll leave those edges nice and white. Adding a little bit of blue to my color. Just going to purple this up a little bit. Just using my brush kind of as a delivery tool. I'm just taking nice wet pigment and putting it on those wet areas. Just looking quite funny. We go real dark. I want her nice and dark down here at the base. Nice and light in here. Kind of mirror that a little bit. Let those colors just run together. Nice and dark down here at the base. Want to bring some of that dark up in here as well. darker in there. Darker there. This little yellowish orange in her legs. Those colors run together. Do I think I want to go with really a bright red. It's pretty bright. I go with a nice bright red, and I'm just gonna put that down on her comb there. Yellow in the beak, and I want those eyes a little bit yellow to start with, and then I'll work on them a little bit later. Now with my brush, I can just kind of pull those colors together a little bit closer to my pencil lines. I rinse my brush, kind of keep it clean. And some nice bright reds in there for that wattle. And just a little bit down here. No, I think I'm going to leave it alone. I think I'm going to leave it as my first wash. A bit darker. A hair bit darker down at that base. All right, I think I'm gonna stop there. I've got all the areas of my of Marge filled in. Just gonna let that dry, and then I'll come back in and put a second wash on.